Hello, children, and welcome to today's session. We are going to just recall quickly what are the basic needs that all living beings need. We need air, we need water, we need food, we also need shelter. Living beings reproduce, living beings also move from one place to another. So, coming to the basic needs of human beings, which is air and water. So, we all need air to breathe in, whether it is human beings, animals, or plants. Now, the important thing is that the air that we are breathing in has to be clean because this air goes inside the body and touches all the organs. So, it is so important for this air to be fresh and pure. Similarly, for water, it is also so important for the water that we drink to be pure and germ free. This is because this water gives our entire body the base for all the functions. So, in this chapter today, we are actually going to learn about air and water pollution. We are also going to learn about the different causes that lead to air pollution, water pollution, and how all this is harming us and our bodies. So, we all know that we are living in cities, and if we go out to our balconies during the day, हमें सांस लेने में दिक्कत होती है because there is a heaviness in the air. अगर इस बात का डिफरेंस समझने की कोशिश करें तो हमें पता है अगर हम सेक्लूडेड माउंटेन्स के ऊपर जाते हैं जहां ज्यादा आबादी नहीं होती है वहां पर एयर बहुत फ्रेश होती है और एयर ब्रीद इन करने से हमें बहुत अच्छा लगता है बिकॉज दैट एयर इज वेरी लाइट क्लीन एंड प्योर. Now, what is the difference between the air on the mountains and air in the cities? It is the amount of air pollution. How do you define air pollution? Air pollution is defined as any atmospheric condition in which undesirable substances get mixed up with the air. हमने छोटी क्लासेस में एयर का कॉम्पोजिशन पढ़ा है. हमें पता है दैट एयर कंसिस्ट्स अ मिक्सचर ऑफ gases, and we also know that air additionally has particulate matter. Particulate matter मतलब वो particles जो जमीन पे सेटल नहीं होते हैं क्योंकि वो लाइट होते हैं इसलिए वो एयर के साथ घूमते रहते हैं. Now, what are the causes of air pollution? हम हमेशा से सुनते आए हैं that human beings are one of the major reasons for causing air pollution. But today we are going to learn about the natural causes of air pollution. है ना मजे की बात कि नेचर खुद भी pollution करता है. Now, how is that? Let us understand that. So, the first source is pollen grains, hydrocarbons that are released by vegetation, dust from the deserts, storms, volcanic ashes, and gases, and particulate gases and trace gases which are released from forest fire. So, this was the first natural source of air pollution. The second is volcanic eruptions and volcanic ash. इन दोनों ही केसेस में वोल्केनोस के अंदर से जो मटेरियल निकलता है that keeps on floating in the air. It makes the air very heavy. It fills the air with carbon dioxide, which becomes very, very dangerous when we breathe in. Now, these are very, very simple examples of pollution by natural sources. Now, let us understand the grave consequences that human activities are having on pollution. So, the first thing that we all know that industries such as steel, chemical, paper industry, all these industries release smoke and harmful gases. And the harmful gases here are carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, and also oxides of nitrogen. All these things mix with the air and they cause air pollution. Thermal power plants, like the ones which use coal, these also produce ash which is left out in the air. Again, the same thing, it makes the air heavy to breathe, and this contains harmful toxins that get deposited on our lungs. Deforestation is one of the major causes of air pollution. Why? Because deforestation की वजह से there are no trees to purify the air. Because trees are the only way in which the air constantly gets fresh and cleansed. Petrol and diesel vehicles such as trucks, buses, cars, scooters, and motorbikes also emit gases such as carbon monoxide. These gases are very, very harmful when inhaled. That is the reason if you travel to a place which is got very heavy traffic, you feel choked after some time if you're traveling in an open rickshaw or an auto. Indoor pollutants such as insecticides, pesticides, chlorofluorocarbons, these are also one of the major reasons that pollution is increasing day by day. Now, to understand the harmful effects that air pollution has on our body, let us watch a small video. As you can see on your screen, this is the difference between clean lungs and this is the difference in the lungs when a person is subjected to very high pollution. So all the carbon that we are inhaling, whether carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide, it is all depositing in our lungs. In fact, industries give out smoke that causes burning sensation of the eyes, and it also causes reduction in the brain activity of children. Now, as we can see in the picture, the industries release SO2 and NO2 gases. These gases mix with the rainwater, and this rainwater comes down as acid rain. Now, acid rain is very, very corrosive, not only for human beings and plants, but also for many, many monuments. For example, the Taj Mahal of Agra is facing the wrath of acid rain. The whiteness of the marble is slowly and steadily fading away because of the refineries around this area. The government is now taking into account the reasons for which the marble was losing its whiteness, and for the same reason they have removed the industries that were in close proximity of the monument. Having learned the effects of air pollution, now let us understand what is greenhouse effect. To understand greenhouse effect, I would like you to recall a greenhouse. Greenhouse क्या होता है? Greenhouse एक ग्लास का कमरा होता है जिसके अंदर प्लांट्स रखे जाते हैं. ग्रीन हाउसेस मोस्टली कहाँ होते हैं? माउंटेन रीजन्स में. क्यों होते हैं? बिकॉज माउंटेन रीजन्स पे सनलाइट कम होती है. सो टू ग्रो प्लांट्स इन अ बेटर वे, इस सनलाइट को उस ग्रीन हाउस के अंदर कॉन्सेंट्रेट कर दिया जाता है, बिकॉज ऑफ विच वो वार्मथ ज्यादा देर तक रहती है एंड द प्लांट्स कैन ग्रो फुलर एंड बेटर. नाउ हाउ इज दिस ग्रीन हाउस हैपनिंग on earth? If you look at this picture, you will see different sources of air pollution. So there are industries and there are vehicles which are emitting carbon dioxide gas. अब जो ओजोन लेयर होती है उसका काम होता है कि इस कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड गैस को थोड़ा सा रोक के रखना सो दैट अर्थ का टेम्परेचर मेंटेन रहे. अगर ये सारी गैस स्पेस में चले जाएगी, then what will happen? The temperature of the earth will begin to cool down and this will not be good for life on earth. But carbon dioxide emission steadily बढ़ रहा है, जिसकी वजह से जितना कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड है ये सारा यही accumulate होता जा रहा है. Because of all this, earth का temperature steadily increase हो रहा है, just like in the case of a glass house. So this is called a greenhouse effect, जिसके अंदर सारा टेम्परेचर अर्थ का इंक्रीज हो रहा है. और हमें कैसे पता कि अर्थ का टेम्परेचर इंक्रीज हो रहा है? समर्स आर गेटिंग वार्मर, विंटर्स आर गेटिंग शॉर्टर, रेनफॉल और फ्लड्स इंक्रीज हो रहे हैं बिकॉज द पोलर आइस कैप्स आर मेल्टिंग एट अ वेरी वेरी हाई पेस. अगर इसी तरह से global warming chalti rahi, so this entire process in which the greenhouse effect takes place is known as global warming. अगर इसी तरह से global warming चलती रही, so वो time दूर नहीं when the entire earth will turn into a desert because fresh water will reduce in the amount and we use fresh water, we don't use ocean water. Now let's quickly run through the effects of global warming. So the first effect is agriculture और food production effect हो रहे हैं. ये कैसे effect हो रहे हैं? एक क्रॉप को एक पर्टिकुलर टेम्परेचर और एक पर्टिकुलर सीजन चाहिए ग्रो करने के लिए. बट बिकॉज ऑफ ग्लोबल वार्मिंग, ग्रीन हाउस इफेक्ट, टेम्परेचर, सीजन्स का ड्यूरेशन, ये सब चेंज होता जा रहा है. सो ऑब्वियसली एग्रीकल्चर इज गेटिंग अफेक्टेड. देयर इज मेल्टिंग ऑफ आइस टेकिंग प्लेस इन द पोलर रीजन. इनकी वजह से जो ओशन का लेवल है वो राइज हो रहा है. एंड जैसे जैसे ओशन का लेवल राइज होगा, जो कोस्टल एरियाज हैं दे विल बी सबमर्ज्ड इन वाटर. नाउ द थर्ड थिंग दैट इज हैपनिंग इज दैट जो बहुत हाई माउंटेन्स है लाइक द हिमालयाज विच आर अ सोर्स ऑफ रिवर्स लाइक गंगा एंड यमुना एंड ब्रह्मपुत्र, अगर इनकी सारी आइस मेल्ट हो जाएगी then these rivers will completely lose their source of water. So these rivers will dry out. Now we have to understand that these rivers are the major source of water for our country. So what will happen once these rivers dry up? Increase rainfall and occurrence of flood, because rivers के आसपास crops grow नहीं कर रहे हैं to hold the excess water, because of which the more and more areas are getting flooded. And because more and more areas are getting flooded, that means there is more and more soil erosion. So this simply tells us कि एक वजह से there are so many consequences that are taking place just because we are not able to check basic air pollution. Now, how do you check air pollution? First is adopt a simple lifestyle. Second, use public transport more often. Third, in case you are using your own motor vehicles, they must be serviced from time to time, because a serviced engine gives out less amount of carbon dioxide gas. Then we should not leave fans, bulbs, televisions, computers on mode or the standby mode, because they continue to consume electricity. Now, as far as possible, we should all use local goods. जब हम imported food खाने की कोशिश करते हैं, we should remember that to provide that imported food on your table, a lot of transportation fuel has been consumed, which is again increasing air pollution. Also, plants use carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas. So obviously, the most important way of controlling climate extreme is planting of more and more trees. Having learnt about water pollution, let us understand about water. But सबसे पहले समझते हैं potable water क्या होता है. Potable water is the water which is clean, pure and safe for human use. इस वाटर के अंदर किसी भी तरीके के कोई भी pollutants नहीं होते, whether in the forms of germs or in the form of mixed impurities. This water is safe to drink. But how does this water get contaminated is the next question. The first source of contamination of water is biological contamination. Now, how does biological contamination take place? Biological means कि जो contamination है वो living होगी. वो living कैसे होगी? It will come from human beings and animals. So we all know that बहुत सारे ऐसे towns और cities हैं जहाँ पे sewage treatment plants नहीं हैं, because of which waste from the household areas like the kitchen and the bathroom is directly sent to the rivers. इसी तरह से जो animal और plant waste होता है, that is also directed into the water bodies. इसकी वजह से क्या होता है? Many harmful microorganisms grow in large number in these water bodies. Now, these microorganisms affect the human body in several ways. They lead to diseases like typhoid, cholera and intestinal infection. और ये diseases ऐसे areas में ज़्यादा होती हैं जहाँ पर inadequate sewage treatment होता है. कई बार organic waste को as it is dump करने की वजह से and उसी water को use करने की वजह से you develop rashes, earaches, eye infections, respiratory diseases, diarrhea, encephalitis and so many other diseases. Therefore, it is very important to handle the drinking water sources very, very carefully. Now, how do we ensure that in case the water is dirty. How do we purify it? What are the means of making this dirty water potable? Purification of water may be done using several methods. So the first important method that we all are aware of is boiling. We all know that in small towns and villages लोग कैसे वाटर फिल्टर करते हैं? वो घड़ों का इस्तेमाल करते हैं. घड़े जो होते हैं, मटका जो होता है, वो एक नेचुरल फिल्टर का काम करता है. In cities we are using water filters like AquaGuard or we are using RO filters. Next is sedimentation. Sedimentation क्या होता है? Whenever there are impurities in water, the water is allowed to stand. जो ये impurities होती हैं, जो float कर रही होती हैं, these are collected at the bottom of the vessel. बाद में ऊपर से clean water निकाल दिया जाता है और उसको boil करके use किया जाता है. Sometimes when these impurities are very big or heavy, the process of loading is used. Loading is exactly same as sedimentation, but it is just used when the size of impurities is very huge. Then we come to distillation. Distillation के अंदर this water is used for industries and it removes salt from water. Let us now understand the chemical purification of water. In chemical purification of water, a complicated apparatus is taken in which impure water is put in a beaker or a conical flask and it is heated to boiling temperature. Once the water begins to boil, it turns into water vapor and this water vapor is collected through a separate pipe into a separate clean container. This water vapor cools down as water. Now this water is once again a very pure form of water. Now, like we learned methods to avoid air pollution, let us also learn how to avoid water pollution. So the first step is that we should not throw garbage in lakes and rivers. We should plant more trees on the banks of the river so that the soil is not washed away. We should also try to treat the toxic industrial waste before that water is released into a river, lake or pond. Also, the city treatment plant should be located at a separate place than the main source of water. And lastly, excessive use of fertilizers, synthetic detergents should be discontinued because all these things are water insoluble and they are not destroyed. They keep moving in water as suspended particles. So in this chapter, we have learned the causes of air and water pollution. We have learned effective ways in which both of these can be reduced. We have also learned about potable water and how impure water can be converted to potable water. Thank you.